Who's there?
I didn't kill him, but his body was found in my house. Everyone thinks I'm a murderer until I uncover a secret that changes everything. Now the real killer is watching me, and I might be next. I didn't kill Daniel Harper, but by the time the police found his body in my living room, I was already guilty in everyone's eyes. It started with a knock, not the polite kind, the kind that feels like it already knows something you don't. I remember freezing halfway between the kitchen and the couch, a mug of cold coffee still in my hand. It was 11:47 p.m. Nobody visits in Willow Creek that late unless something is wrong. "Lena Carter, open the door!" Sheriff Nolan's voice. My stomach dropped. When I opened it, there were 3 officers behind him, guns not drawn, but ready. "Ma'am," Sheriff Nolan said, his voice softer now, "we need to come inside." I stepped back. That was my first mistake. They found Daniel within 30 seconds, face down, blood dried into the carpet like a dark, permanent stain. His head, I couldn't look long enough to process it. I didn't scream, I didn't cry. I just stood there thinking, this isn't real, this isn't happening to me. But it was, and somehow I was the center of it. "Care to explain why Daniel Harper is dead in your house?" That's what Detective Ruiz asked me later under bright white lights that made everything feel like a nightmare you couldn't wake up from. I don't know," I said. "I wasn't even home." "Convenient." "I work late, the diner." "We checked. You left early tonight." I blinked. "That's not... No, I stayed until 10. "Your manager says 9. My heart started racing. Someone was lying, and it wasn't me. Daniel wasn't just anyone. He was the golden boy of Willow Creek, real estate agent, charming. Everyone trusted him. Everyone except me. 2 weeks ago, I had threatened him, publicly, loudly, and now he was dead, in my house. "I didn't kill him," I whispered. Detective Ruiz leaned forward. "Then help me understand why your fingerprints are on the weapon." "The weapon?" "A cast iron skillet. Mine." They let me go the next morning, not because I was innocent, but because they wanted me to slip. "Don't leave town," Ruiz said. "We'll be watching." I believed her. In a town like Willow Creek, everyone watches. I walked back into my house slowly. The stain was still there. They hadn't cleaned it yet. It felt wrong, like the house itself was accusing me. I sat on the couch, staring at the spot where Daniel had died, trying to remember something, anything that didn't add up. Then it hit me. The door. I always lock it, always. But that night, when I came home, it was slightly open. I thought I just forgot, but I never forget. Someone had been inside before me. I started with the obvious, the diner. "Hey, Lena," my coworker Jess said when I walked in. "You okay? Everyone's talking about..." "Did you see me leave early last night?" I asked. She frowned. "No, you stayed late, didn't you?" "Yes." "Why?" "My manager told the police I left at 9. Jess's expression shifted. "That's weird." We both turned toward the office, where Mark, the manager, was pretending not to listen. "Mark," I said, walking in. He smiled too quickly. "Lena, you holding up? Why did you lie to the police?" His smile faded. "I didn't lie." "Yes, you did. I stayed until 10. He shrugged. "Must have misremembered." "No, you didn't," I said quietly. For a second, something flickered in his eyes. Fear. Then it was gone. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't random. I went home and started digging. Daniel Harper wasn't just a real estate agent. He owned half the town's secrets, buying properties, flipping them, evicting people quietly, including me. 3 weeks ago, I found out my house wasn't really mine anymore, a paperwork error, signed over months ago, to Daniel. I confronted him in public, in front of everyone. "You think you can just take my home?" I yelled. He smiled like I was a joke. I already did. Now he was dead, and I was the perfect suspect. But something still didn't fit. If Daniel wanted my house, why come there, at night, alone? Unless he wasn't alone. I went back to the diner after closing, not through the front, through the back. Mark's office light was on. I crept closer and heard voices. "This wasn't the plan," Mark was saying. Another voice answered, calm, cold. "You panicked." "I didn't mean to kill him." My breath caught. "Lower your voice," the other said. "It's done. Now we just make sure she takes the fall." My heart slammed against my ribs. They were talking about me. I pushed the door open. "Make sure who takes the fall?" Both of them turned. Mark and Jess. For a moment, my brain refused to process it. Jess? My best friend? "You weren't supposed to hear that," she said quietly. Her voice didn't sound like hers anymore. "Jess?" I whispered. She stepped forward. "No, Lena, you don't get to say my name like that." "Why?" Her eyes hardened. "Because you had everything handed to you." "What are you talking about?" "That house, that was supposed to be my family's years ago, but your father outbid us, took it." I shook my head. "That wasn't me." "But you kept it," she snapped. "You lived in it like it belonged to you." "This is insane," I said. "So you killed Daniel?" She laughed. "No, Mark did." Mark flinched. "I didn't mean to," he said. "He hit him." "You hit him with the skillet," Jess said flatly. Everything clicked into place. "You moved the body," I said slowly, "to my house." Jess smiled. "You were always smart." "Why frame me?" "Because it's perfect," she said. "You had motive. You threatened him. It all fits." I took a step back. "You won't get away with this." Jess tilted her head. "Who's going to stop us?" I raised my phone. This. Silence. "I called Detective Ruiz 5 minutes ago." That wasn't entirely true. I had called her, but it had been less than a minute. Jess's expression didn't change, but Mark's did. "You said..." "Relax," she said. Then she looked at me. "You're bluffing." Sirens, distant, but getting closer. For the first time, Jess hesitated. "You shouldn't have come here," she said. "I had to come," I replied. "Now you're involved." I already was. The sirens grew louder, right outside. Mark panicked. "I'm not going to jail." He moved toward the back door. Jess grabbed his arm. "Don't be stupid." Too late. The door burst open. "Police!" Everything happened fast after that. Mark tried to run. They tackled him. Jess didn't move. She just stood there, watching me. As they cuffed her, she leaned close. "You think you won?" she whispered. I didn't answer, because it didn't feel like winning. A week later, the charges against me were dropped. Officially innocent. Unofficially, not everyone believed it. That's the thing about small towns. Truth doesn't matter as much as stories, and my story was already written. I still live in that house. I tried leaving, but something keeps me here. Maybe it's stubbornness, maybe it's fear, or maybe it's the feeling that this isn't over. Because last night, I found something. A note slipped under my door. Just 3 words. "You missed one." And suddenly, I'm not so sure who the real killer is anymore.